right, thank you. I'd like to call the meeting to order. We have just had a closed session or two, and this is the start of the business session. Have we been adequately noticed?
Yes, we have. We were noticed for the business session January 6th, 2017 to Trenton Times and to the Princeton Packet, and the closed session was noticed to both the papers on December 4th, 2017.
Thank you. Would everyone join me in the salute to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We now have a ceremonial matter, but before Mayor Hsueh gives his farewell address, we have a guest who has a presentation. Assemblywoman, please come to the podium. For the record, Assemblywoman Elizabeth Moyo.
Yep, good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
First, I just came to congratulate the winners on the election and look forward to working with everybody in the coming years. I also wanted to come and just thank Mayor Shing-Fu for his years of service, and he has been a great partner throughout the county and the state, and we have a resolution here that my running mates and assembly mate Reed Gusiora and Senator Shirley Turner would like to present to the mayor here on his last formal meeting in council. I just would like to read a few of the paragraphs. Whereas the Honorable Shing-Fu, a highly esteemed resident of the Garden State, is being saluted upon the conclusion of his distinguished tenure of service as mayor of the Township of West Windsor that has spanned a remarkable 16 years. And whereas his extensive record of inspired and effective civic leadership has earned for Mayor Shing-Fu the deepest respect and admiration of the citizens of his community, and whereas first elected in 2001, Mayor Shing-Fu's skillful guidance has led West Windsor to enjoy such noteworthy honors and accomplishments as the first town in New Jersey to be recognized by the National Environmental Education Federation as a green town, the first town in New Jersey to be recognized by the League of American Bicyclists with a bronze level award as bicycle-friendly community, and as the first town in our nation to construct a 9/11 memorial. And whereas his exemplary dedication and steadfast commitment to the people of West Windsor, Mercer County, have also included his efforts as a member of the Board of Health, the Environmental Commission, and the West Windsor Council, where he lent his wisdom and expertise as council president for 4 terms. It goes on, but you all know, you're all mostly residents of West Windsor. What a wonderful job he has done as a leader for the past 16 years. So I just wanted to present him with this proclamation from the New Jersey State Legislature and thank him for all his years of service on behalf of all of us. I also have one other proclamation I want to give. I sat on the Pennington Borough Council for several years, the Mercer County Freeholder Board, and I also want to note that Freeholder Sam Frisbee is here from the Mercer County Freeholder Board. And I know that towns and counties run mostly on the backs and hard work of the volunteers that volunteer on boards and commissions each and every day to make sure that their county and their town and their county run and have the input of local residents and taxpayers. But there is one job in particular, a volunteer position, that is probably the most demanding, some would say thankless, toughest volunteer jobs in any community, and that is the chair of your planning board. So I have a resolution here for my friend, Marvin Gardner, who has served this community. Yep. Marvin did not expect this because I knew he wouldn't come if I told him that this was going to happen. So, but he has been chair of your planning board, and this is a town, as you all know, that have had numerous development challenges and demands, and he has done this with grace and an amazing sense of decorum, and everybody has felt included and heard in his meetings, and it has not been an easy job, I am sure, but you have set the bar for whoever follows in your footsteps extremely high, Marvin. So I just wanted to read just a couple of paragraphs, I promise. I know you have a long night. We're pleased to salute, blah, blah, blah. Whereas Marvin Gardner, it is a political, whereas Marvin Gardner has lent his wisdom and expertise to the Planning Board of West Windsor for more than 16 years, sharing his considerable insight as its chairperson since July of 2002. And the depth of his knowledge and breadth of his experience have contributed immeasurably to the successful functioning of this civic body. And whereas, under his capable and effective guidance, the West Windsor Planning Board has completed numerous integral programs and initiatives, including the approval of the Princeton Junction redevelopment plan, the designation of the Princeton Junction train station as a transit village, and the Project Freedom affordable housing program for disabled adults. And whereas by repeatedly demonstrating an uncommon degree of dedication to his fellow citizens, Marvin Gardner has rightfully earned a measure of respect and admiration. And whereas within all the spheres of his life and work, Marvin Gardner has established a model to emulate and set a standard of excellence toward which others might strive. And whereas it is altogether proper and fitting for this legislature to pause in its deliberations to recognize Marvin Gardner and to praise him as an individual of outstanding character and exceptional determination, now therefore be it resolved that this legislature hereby honors Marvin Gardner, pays tribute to his meritorious record of public service, leadership, and commitment, and extends sincere best wishes for his continued success in all future endeavors. Congratulations. Thank you, Marvin. And thank you to Ellie, too, for all the nights he came home so late. Thank you, Ellie Gardner. Thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful holiday season and a fantastic New Year. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lee. Well, this is my final speech in front of council and all of you. December 11th, actually, it happened to be my youngest grandson Evan's birthday. So Evan, happy birthday from Grandpa. He's 5 years old, but I cannot do that tonight. Let's do it some other time, okay? Yeah. I also wanted to recognize my wife for all of the things she has been doing behind. And very frankly, for this farewell speech, I keep this behind the scenes. I didn't want my wife to know, because I know she's always very nervous, and more so than myself. So that's why I thought maybe I could just go through this without her knowing it, but for some reason she found out. He was laughing. Okay. First, I would like to take this opportunity to thank all of West Windsor residents for giving me the opportunity to serve this community we all love for 25 years. Special thanks go to those who have supported me and voted for me over the years. 7 times. More importantly, I wanted to thank our many volunteers. Some of them actually are here. I know they have been spending so much time just for the community. I would also like to thank the municipal staff who are both talented and dedicated, and who supported my vision for West Windsor Township during my tenure as a mayor. And of course, I also wanted to extend my appreciations to the whole council for allowing me to speak in front of all of you and all of them. So, can I hear? So I cannot walk around. I just have to. Thank you. And, you know, this is really, I never expect all in the sudden 16 and a half years. It has been my honor to serve as a mayor of West Windsor for this last 16 and a half years. As a new resident moved into West Windsor in December, exactly 31 years ago, 1985, I immediately signed up to volunteer serving the community. And I began as a member of the Board of Health and later served on the Environmental Commission before being elected to council in 1993. By the way, I just want all of you to know we have enough copies for all of you. So if you wanted to have these hard copies, by all means, we have it just by the door. Okay. Yeah. And by the way, we still have quite a few chairs here. Would you, about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, you can come in, please. If you don't mind to sit there for 20 minutes. Yeah. We still have quite a few chairs here. Yeah. I know when I was teaching at the Rutgers, every time I walk into the classrooms, the students always started from behind, and then slowly I have to convince them to come to the front because I have to speak louder. So this is with microphone, I don't have to do it. But again, we still got a couple of chairs here. Any one of you? Yeah, you can come just a couple more. Yeah, Jim, I know you will do that. Thank you, Jim. It has been my honor to serve 16 and a half years. As a new resident, I started as a Board of Health and then Environmental Commission. When I first ran for mayor in 2001, I promise you that integration and connection for West Windsor was my goal. A clearer sense of community and a sense of place. Specifically, I proposed a farmers market, preservation of West Windsor's agricultural heritage, an art center, a history museum, a general complete street concept for bicycle, and the pedestrian-friendly roadway design. Infrastructure improvements to upgrade and improve the traffic circulation, and efficient and effective government, and expand the senior center with the best program for the township's retirees, and the parks providing the best recreational facilities for residents of all ages. All of this I work hard to accomplish while maintaining a AAA bond ratings started 2007 and control growth and stable and predictable property tax systems despite changing state policies and mandates. As you can see from my years of service as your mayor, my accomplishments and infrastructure improvements have been in support of these goals. Together with your support and participation, I have been successful. In 2009, West Windsor was named by American Online Neighborhood Scout as the most family-friendly neighborhood to raise kids in New Jersey. West Windsor was also considered as the first town in New Jersey recognized by the National League of American Bicyclists with the Bronze Level Award as bicycle-friendly communities. In 2017, Business Insider just published this year, selected West Windsor the best city in New Jersey if you wanted to buy a home. I hope even with the new tax reform, it will not have too much impact on West Windsor, I hope. But it is what it is. We have to deal with it. And New Jersey Family Magazine selected West Windsor the best town in Mercer County in 2017. And in 2017, West Windsor is included in the New Jersey Politics September 2017 issues as one of the towns considered to be a property tax bargains in each of the New Jersey's 21 counties. 8 recreational parks with well-maintained facilities: West Windsor Community Farmers Market, West Windsor Arts Center, the History Museum and Environmental Education Center at the Skeng Farm State. And more than 50% of the township preserved as open space, providing passive and active recreation. All of these are places where we can enjoy and meet with your neighbors. The first trolley line trail become the first in the state using PSE&G easements. I don't know how many of you know where exactly that is. That is really the transmission towers going through West Windsor. In the beginning, I was dreaming to have that connected up to Newark, but they only give approval to West Windsor, and after that, even Prince Polo and other towns tried to submit their applications, nobody got it. And they actually told them West Windsor will be used as a model program, and they wanted to see how it worked. But inside, the story was they found out it's too much work involved for them, so they don't want to entertain the second one anymore. So end up we were the only one in the state. And you can ride bicycle from connecting West Windsor Community Park to Mercer Community Park. Again, we also have a Pigtown Bridge going across Big Bear Brook, actually surrounded community park. And some of you probably ride bicycle using that we call Pigtown Park, Pigtown Bridge. The reason it's called Pigtown Bridge, many of you may not know, 200 years ago, that area was called Pigtown. It used to have a lot of pigs. And that is one of the very well-known area, and of course also got a lot of nutrients. That's why Grover's Mill Pond got into such a serious problem for over 50 years. And then I have to do the Grover's Mill Pond clean up. It was clean in 2009, but again now it's beautiful pond. The Meadow Road realignments and the Canal Points Boulevard reconstruction, an additional 600-car parking lot with a pathway to the train station. The majority of these infrastructure improvements were completed with much of their budgets funded from non-tax sources. These projects have exemplified what a local government can do as we plan for our future infrastructure improvements. I'm very proud of what we have accomplished. And this community remains the same community I have served since first time I got elected as a council member, July 1, 1993. A community of diversity in terms of age, ethnicity, religions, and economic status. There are other projects that have already been committed to by the state, county, and the private sectors that will be started in the foreseeable futures. Hopefully, the new administration and the council will continue to follow through to ensure their full completion. These projects are, number one, redevelopments of the Princeton Junction neighborhood. All outstanding legal issues associated with the plan approved in 2011 will be resolved in the next few months. Major redevelopment projects for Ellsworth Shopping Village and Intercap Polling sites are expected to get started soon after. So this is some of the things I'm hoping. I wish I had the time in the mayor's office to see all of this happening. But again, definitely, I'm sure we turned that into good hands. And, you know, Heman is going to be the mayor who carry out the rest of it. But the legal issues, it had been outstanding for quite a few times, started 2011. So hopefully we'll get resolved. And all of these projects will help to create the environments that millennials in New Jersey are looking to live in. And you know, the young generations, their thinking is very different. Actually, including myself. I also like to hopefully be able to go with my wife's permission to go to Township Village someday. Number 2, Route 1 improvements. After decades of negotiation, we have come to an agreement with all neighboring townships, Princeton University and NJDOT, on a concept design focusing on the segments around the Washington Road intersection that will include bicycle and pedestrian-friendly features, as well as safety improvements for motorists. NJDOT will include this as their priority project next year. And many of you living in this town long enough, you understand this project has been talked about it for over 70 years. It's not 7 years, 70 years. So a lot of governmental projects, you can see that. You're not talking about single digit. A lot of projects, we talk about the double digits. So it's not bad. Finally, the state promised me, and I would like all of you keep an eye on it. They promised me minimum $50 million to fix that. Okay. And number 3, Edinburgh Road and Old Trenton Road intersection improvements. And this will be a priority project under Mercer County's jurisdiction for 2018. And Sam, please remember that. I know we already signed the agreements, and you know, don't forget about that. And this will include basically what this will do is this will modify that intersection to make sure when you go from Edinburgh Road to Old Trenton Road, there will be enough room for you to be able to make a right turn. Right now, those who are going to make left turn will, you know, they will have to do that, and then people waiting for right turn still have to wait for them. So that's why always long line in the rush hour. Hopefully this will resolve that congestion. Number 4, reconstruction of Route 571 between Cranberry Road and Clarksville Road. And this was the agreements we signed in 2004 with the county to make sure the whole design will be very similar to Canal Points Boulevard. And I'm hoping people from Canal Points Boulevard, you have that good experience over there. And this is going to be the same. Will allow for sidewalks, bicycle pathways, and then 3 lane for traffic. And then there will be speed limits, you know, control like a 25, hopefully be able to control 25 miles per hour. And this will include a complete street design and will require purchase of additional property needed to create the long-awaited downtown area. And Mercer County is working with West Windsor in preparation for the 2019 reconstruction under the county's jurisdiction. And think about that, 2019, and I signed the agreements 2004. Always 2 digits. Number 5, commitments from the county to reconstruct the 2 bridges. The Cranberry Road Bridge over the Millstone River and the Old Trenton Road Bridge over the Bridegroom Run. Once we have these 2 bridges completed, we can claim that all bridges in West Windsor will meet 100% of the public safety standards. I don't think that there are too many communities can say the same thing. So all of this will be up to the standards. Number 6, work with Princeton County and the state to reconstruct the 2 Alexandra Road bridges over the border waters, including DNR Canal and Stony Brook into Princeton. So next time when you have a school bus, you don't have to wait. You can run concurrently. Besides these important projects to focus on, I have the following recommendations to share with our newly elected mayors and the council members, based on my experience in public service for West Windsor. Number 1, get familiar with the mayor-council form of government and understand your roles as soon as possible. West Windsor's mayor-council form of government is very different from most of the towns in this area. It's very much similar to Trenton or Hamilton, and that's why it's called mayor-council form of government. It's different from Prince Paulo, and it's different from Princeton, and it's different from East Windsor. We have to keep that in mind. Sometimes I hear people come to tell me about why East Windsor they can do this or Princeton they can do that. No, we have our ground rules we have to follow. Number 2, keep good relationship with all county and the state agencies as much as you can, particularly people like Sam here. We always treat him nicely. And the least, because we need to have a good relationship with state and the county. And I have to say my experience has been outstanding. We don't have problem. We always get support and help from our representative. And I want to take these opportunities to thank both of you, state and the county representative here. Thank you. And this is particularly important for the new mayor because, Iman, now you are the face of West Windsor. Number 3, whenever we are dealing with conflicts with the private sector, do our homework first. Do our homework. Understand the issues clearly. Know what we wanted and negotiate first. Litigation is always the last result. My experience has been, don't count on the judges. Although we call them your honors, but in many cases they are not really that honorable. I'm sorry I have to say that. And, you know, Mike, am I violating any? I don't know anything. And number 4, like the CEO of a private company, the mayor has the responsibility of coordinating and facilitating all the key managers in the administration. Listen to the experts, trust the experts, ask the questions, and make key policy decisions, and without micromanaging, just monitor and follow up on the progress. Number 5, Howard Hughes will continue to be a critical issue in West Windsor. The day after I was elected to the council in May 1993, Holt Brothers filed lawsuits against the West Windsor based on the affordable housing. This turned out to be a precedent-setting lawsuit, viewed as an important case study for both the land use planning and legal professionals in New Jersey. As you know, recently we filed our application in response to Amazon Headquarters 2 RFP with the unanimous support from the council and Howard Hughes management. My experience with parties involved will be of interest to our new mayor and governing body, and I am available to share them with the new team whenever you feel the timing is appropriate. Number 6, continue to implement the West Windsor Sustainable Plan, which is part of our municipal master plan adopted in October 2004. So far, we have been ranked at the top level by the Sustainable Jersey program. And some of our key volunteers are here, like Mike and Andrew. They all sit at the corner. But actually, they are the key people promoted this sustainable program within our communities. We call a green team. It's not my green team running for elected offices, but they are play a major role here. And that's why West Windsor, actually, 2011, we were one of the 3 towns got recognized as a silver level certification. That is the highest level at this point. And next year, the gold level certification will be initiated. I would like to see we pursue for this certification as much as we can. Number 7, to run an effective council meeting. All questions that the individual council member has, please communicate with council chair, mayor, or business administrator as soon as you can. A lot of time can be saved at the meetings if issues can be clarified beforehand. Tonight, while the year 2017 is coming to a close in 3 weeks, I would like to take this opportunity to remind all of you, in 2008, West Windsor will continue our tradition with events that were institutionalized. The 39th Arbor Day celebration ceremony, and we could be 1 or 2 of 3 cities to be recognized in the whole state of New Jersey with 39 years, non-stop. The Memorial Day Parade, the 2nd annual West Windsor Day, and that's the Community Day. The 13th annual Dragon Boat competitions for breast cancer survivors, all held in early spring and summer. The Veterans Day ceremony, the 6th turkey trot for regional charity organizations on Thanksgiving Day, and a tree lighting ceremony on the first Sunday of December. And this year, we just have it last Sunday. A lot of people were there. Usually, in my 17 times officiating that event, it's always more than 500 people show up, and then we have a fireworks. Although, first time, people ask me, is this July 4th? I say, as long as we have a good time, then we can celebrate. And this is West Windsor, and now this is becoming a routine on annual basis. So, let's bring our friends and neighbors all together at these events. I think you all know that. Out of many, we are one together as a community. I think the dollar bill, you have that. It says, out of many, we are one. In conclusion, the most important recommendation from me to the forthcoming leadership team is communication, communication, and communication. Communication has to be 2 ways, both expressing your opinions and listening to those of others. Also, communication must happen on all levels. Communication with higher levels of governmental agencies, communication among elected officials, communication between the administration and the council, and the most important, communication with West Windsor residents, and that's all of you. And thank you. Thank you very much. Good night and good luck. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and Happy New Year. Thank you for coming.
Let's everybody take a 5-minute break so that those of you who want to follow the mayor to room C can do so.
Talk to me. I'm available in room C. And at the same time, if you need a copy of my speech,
Yes. sat down. I have it right there. Especially when he's a doll. Such a cutie pie. The older ones, they have pianos. Oh, did they?
Amazon's always good for that. That's right. 2-day delivery.
So the next order of business is public comment. Sharon, are people signed up?
Yes, I have Chris Circus.
Good evening. Chris Circus, 3 Channing Way in West Windsor. On behalf of our founders, Beth Fian and Mireille Delman of the West Windsor Community Farmers Market, as well as our board members, Kim Bialy, Tom Calabria, Paul Cerna, Diane Ciccone, Tom Cooper, Craig Goodfriend, Curtis Hoberman, Gretchen Jackal, Joanne Parla, and myself as manager, we would like to publicly thank Mayor Hsueh, and I will send him my comments, West Windsor Township, including Community Development, the Health Department, Public Works, and of course the Parking Authority for the generous support of our farmers market over the past 14 years. The farmers market was created as a nonprofit by a grassroots group of residents to give space to local farms and artisan vendors to engage directly with their consumers and offer a gathering place for the community at large, centered around health and wellness. For those who shop the market, you know the market is an inviting, vibrant, warm environment filled with fresh food, live music, and friends greeting friends. A Saturday morning town center, so to speak. As our shopper base has grown over the years, we've expanded our season to run from May until Thanksgiving, and now we've moved indoors twice a month from December through April at the Windsor Athletic Club. We look forward to working with the new administration as well as continue our working relationship with the various township departments as we open for our 15th year next May. We wish Mayor Hsueh well in his next chapter and invite him to come visit us anytime. Thank you.
Thank you.
John Hinsdale?
Hello, John Hinsdale, 38 Quaker Road in West Windsor. I'd like to thank the mayor for his many years of service. I'd also like to thank Chris for the farmers market work she does. At the last council meeting on November 27th, 2017, which is 2 weeks ago today, the 4 members who were present failed to consent to a routine appointment to one of the numerous open spots on the Human Relations Council. This was Resolution 2017 R296. The failure to consent was due to 2 of the 4 members, Council members Gievers and Barry, abstaining from the vote. The only apparent reason for abstaining given was that the 5th council member needed to be present. Indeed, Council member Barry specifically voiced having, quote, no problem at all, unquote, with the appointee. Councilmember Gievers said nothing about the acceptability of the candidate, foregoing all opportunities to comment on that aspect. Everyone was present to hear Council President Miller's observations as to the non-political nature of the appointment and the fact that open seats on the Human Relations Council were in plentiful supply. It is both obvious and indisputable that there was no good reason not to consent, as a matter of course, to this non-political appointment of a candidate to whom there was no objection. Indeed, the mayor, and I hope he's having a good time out there, the mayor called him out as particularly suitable based on his experience. In order to retain confidence in the full council, I believe the people of West Windsor are owed an explanation as to why votes were not put forth. The impression comes forth that the council are simply refusing to do the job for which they were elected. It would be helpful for the 2 members who abstained to rule out any specific invalid reasons, including, but certainly not limited to, undue politicization of this decision, undue and undisclosed bias against the candidate, or any other invalid reason. I believe that Council members Barry and Gievers should explain why they abstained. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Next.
Jen Ping Wang?
Well, now I'm speaking to a half-empty house, but I'm still going to speak. As a resident for West Windsor for 39 years, I have seen a lot of development, and I think I don't even know how long ago when we start discussing the Alexander Road, the bridge. There was really not a very pleasant situation. It pitted community against community, and that's when I start kind of wake up and say, hey, I have to really get to know the township a little bit. And it was with the township leadership and planning board. We have a series of discussion and public comments, and DOT also come to listen to it. And the result is something I enjoy every day, driving through the roundabout, and I think it's both beautiful and effective. And that is something, as a resident, I just want to make a couple observations of things that I am directly benefited, and as a way of showing gratitude to the mayor, to council of many years, to the staff of the township, and numerous volunteers who has been putting their time working towards the betterment of the township. The other things I want to also mention as a private citizen, since I retired, I went to the senior center, and my mother has been there, and when she was alive, she considered the senior center her second home. And I'm the second generation. I'm very proud. And I go there, and it is just such a rich place. It really enriched my life and many other ones. So any time that when you go there, you will see people playing, talking, meeting, taking classes. I personally take yoga, and I really appreciate that offering that's available in Township. I have told my friend, other retired friend, I say, go check out your senior center, and look, we have this, and they come back and say, no, not the same. So I really appreciate it, what we have here to offer. And the farmers market, for me, I tell people that that's my Saturday religion. I just go there, and if I don't go there, I just don't feel like I'm centered. One of the things I specifically want to say is that both the mayor and the township staff are so accessible. And when I call up the township, instead of pushing one for this, pushing two for that, and so forth, I always get a live person, and I always get really tremendously good information and help. And I wish that the council will recognize the good staff that is available to serve the township. And I have also come to many, not that many, I should say, meetings that between the council and for various different issues. And I have to say that as a citizen, I really wish that the working relationship between the council, the administration, and the citizen will be a collaborate one. We do things for the public good, and let's try to accomplish that as civil as possible. And I really, for me, it means a lot. One thing I'm going to say, especially for Shing-Fu, we have a Chinese saying, say, 宰相肚大能吞蚕. It means the prime minister has to have a belly big enough that can have a boat sailing in it. And me sitting in the audience and listen to some of the struggle and debate and challenge that was discussed, I understand fully that you really need a big tummy to be able to handle all these things. And I applaud you to sit there and offer your best. And thank you very much.
Thank you.
Nice Scott Avenue, sorry.
Aletta Riccardi.
Good evening. I'm Alita Ricciardi at 40 Van Wyck, and this is hastily written on the back of my bank statement, which is sadly inept. I just wanted to support Mr. Hensdale's comments in encouraging an open process to make timely appointments to the more than, at last reading, I know not all of them are council appointments, but 25 open spots for volunteers and appointments by council. I'm sure that we have people who are interested in these positions, and so it would help those and open transparency if at least minimum standards or a timeline for making appointments or milestones or something could be presented along with these list of, as I said, nearly 25 open spots for volunteers and appointments. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have no one else signed up. If anybody else would like to come up.
Well, seeing no one, thank you all. And administration comments, Marlena?
This evening, I wanted to provide council and the public an update on the beautiful pavilion. Late last week, we had a contractor come in and temporarily cable the beautiful pavilion. The beautiful pavilion is now back. It's no longer slanted. It's back in its original position. And at this point in time, we continue to work with the structural engineer looking for a permanent fix. When that fix will be determined is hard for me to give you a time frame at this point because several different designs are being looked at. Some of it may or may not affect the aesthetics of the beautiful pavilion. So the temporary securing of the pavilion has been completed, and for the time being, because of the cables that are in place supporting the beautiful pavilion, that area is cordoned off by fencing, and we would ask that anyone who wants to walk through the park that they please observe the safety zone that has been established. I will continue to provide further updates to the council as they become available. With the weather conditions that we had this past weekend, the ground is, I would imagine, pretty solid, so that may impede the ability to move forward with the permanent fix. But if you have any questions, council, please feel free to contact me, and I'll reach out to the appropriate staff within the engineering division. I wanted to also let council know that this weekend with the snow, there was no need for the township to call in its subcontractor to plow the streets. Our DPW handled the clearing of the roadways without incident. Unfortunately, we had within the area some severe automobile accidents, but you know, I would imagine driver error played a role in that, and possibly speed. But I'm pleased to report that our crews were ready, willing, and able, and I think they did an excellent job. With that being said, we have now a combination of leaves and snow. So with our crews getting ready on Friday for the Saturday storm, our leaf collection operation is slightly behind. They hope to finish up Zone 1 by tomorrow, and then they will move into Zone 2. And then things hopefully will return to normal, although I understand snow is forecast for later on this weekend, or later in the week. I wanted to make a couple of other announcements. The West Windsor Volunteer Fire Company number 1, Operation Santa 2017, will take place. Children are invited to see Santa and receive a candy cane, and donations are greatly appreciated by the West Windsor Volunteer Fire Company. The fire company will be out on December 14th from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., December 15th from 6 to 9 p.m., and December 16th from 6 to 9 p.m. Likewise, the Princeton Junction Volunteer Fire Company number 1 also has an Operation Santa 2017, and they'll be escorting Santa Claus through Princeton Junction on the evenings of Saturday, December 16th, and Sunday, December 17th. You can check the Township website under current news for the actual date as to where the respective fire companies will be within the areas of the township. The West Windsor Police Department Bark Drop 2017, it invites you to contribute to Cherno's 4th Annual Toy and Food Drive for all shelter pets. Wet and dry food, leashes, harnesses, toys, beds, cat litter, treats, collars, and more are needed. An ELF Team 6 with Cherno will deliver the items in a huge convoy the week of December 18th. So please have all donations to headquarters by December 18th, 2017. We also have a donation bin in the municipal building, in the hallway, and that our building is open business hours from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. In terms of garbage and recycling, I figured I'd make this announcement for planning purposes, even though we're having a meeting next week. Garbage and recycling collection during the upcoming holiday season will be as follows. Recycling will be collected as scheduled on Thursday, December 28th. Waste management will not collect garbage on Monday, December 25th, Christmas Day. So regular trash pickup that would have occurred on Monday is now Tuesday. The Tuesday location will get picked up on Wednesday. Wednesday now shifts to Thursday. Thursday shifts to Friday, and Friday's collection will be made up on Saturday. This too will be posted on the township's website under current news. Finally, the West Windsor Police Department continues to request that you do not leave your vehicles running with the keys in the ignition for a number of reasons, especially while they're unsecured and unattended. There has been a rise of this type of car theft, and we want the community to be as safe as possible. There was a situation, I believe, this past weekend where a juvenile attempted to drive off in a vehicle that was left running unattended, and the vehicle was a manual vehicle, and the driver, the juvenile, I can't make this up, the juvenile had no knowledge of how to operate a manual car. And our police department successfully, there was actually a second car waiting for the juvenile. So the juvenile got out of the car, took off, and headed for the Ford Taurus that was waiting for the juvenile. And our police department did an excellent job and intercepted the Ford Taurus. So we have a juvenile and I believe an adult, obviously, although I'm not sure that the driver of the Ford Taurus was an adult. But seriously, it's very tempting to want to enter a warm car, but you do take a huge risk when you do that. So I'm on behalf of the police department, I wanted to get the word out. That's all I have for this evening.
Marlena, if I could just follow up on the garbage collection, that, will that pattern be repeated for New Year's Day, which is also a Monday, or will they pick up on New Year's Day?
I want to check. I don't think they will pick up New Year's Day. That's one of the 6 holidays that usually most businesses observe. But on the 18th, I will confirm that. I thought it was enough with Christmas, with the schedule changes, with all the days being shifted. I would say, yes, it's safe to assume that, but I will update council as well as the website for New Year's Day as well.
Thank you. Well, council member comments. It's the turn of this side to start. Hemant, please.
Thank you. First, I would like to thank Mayor Hsueh for his long service. He's not in the audience, but it's well known that we have had our differences, both in philosophies and opinions on various subjects. However, even with those differences, I appreciate his long service to the residents of West Windsor and would want to thank him both on a personal level and on behalf of everybody in West Windsor. A gentleman asked for an explanation for last meeting's happenings. I would love to get in that discussion now. However, today is Mayor's farewell address, and I don't want to take anything away from him. I will thus reserve my comments for the next meeting, but you will certainly hear them. And while I do that, let me make you one promise, not only to you, but all residents of West Windsor. When my term ends, whether it's 4 years from now or 40, and if it's 40, God save my marriage. I promise not to appoint anyone to any committees once the new leader of West Windsor is chosen. Thank you.
Thank you. Linda?
I just wanted to thank Mayor Hsueh for all his many, many years, 16-plus years as mayor. I was council member before that, so I think it's about 24 and a half years. Long, long time. He served us very, very well. I knew him. I ran with him twice. It was a lot of memories, a lot of good conversations. He certainly accomplished a lot of infrastructure projects, expansion of the parks, all sorts of things. But I think the bottom line is that he truly cared about the residents very deeply. He was mayor 24/7, always there, to help people whenever they needed help, to listen. So it provided a great deal of leadership, and for that, I'm thankful, and I think the rest of the community is also very thankful for that, too. I also wanted to thank Planning Board Chairman Marvin Gardner for his 16-year-plus service on the Planning Board, and other than his first year, I believe he was chairman all those other years. Tremendous responsibility. And I served with him for about 4 years as a council person, different years. Learned a lot about land use planning, running meetings. Tremendous. He did a really great job on running the meetings. And I think one of our meetings, it was probably the high school South Lights issue came up, and I think we finally ended it at 10 to 3 in the morning. That was the longest one I ever did, so you kind of catch a second one around 1 o'clock. Do you want to come back another night, or do you want to finish it up? And so we did finish it up. But I just want to thank him, because that's a tremendous responsibility. I also attended the ribbon-cutting ceremony today for the new offices for the Health and Recreation Department, part of the post office building. Post office vacated part of it, half of it, more or less. So we have our new Health and Rec Department offices. Looks really nice. It's good. There's also one room that we can use as a community room, say in the evenings. So that turned out very nice. I want to thank the staff and Ms. Schmidt for all her work on that. I know it was a lot, keeping track of the contractors.
Well, I want to thank council.
Yeah.
It's really a long time coming, and I could not have done it without your support and the support that I received from our inner working team that consisted of Gay Huber, and thank you, Sharon, for loaning her to us, Brian Aronson, Jill Swanson, Ken Roberts, Ross Mazik, who is our IT and network systems individual, and Jack King. So I hope I didn't miss anyone. I'm looking forward to embarking on a concept plan with the as to where we go with Phase 2, and hopefully fixing the roof, which is a long time coming. But thank you again.
Right. The West Windsor Volunteer Fire Company had breakfast with Santa yesterday, and the place was absolutely packed for about 4 hours. And I think maybe the snow that happened on Saturday, everybody felt the need to get out on a beautiful Sunday day and get over there for pancakes and getting pictures with Santa. So that was a lot of fun. I know that there was mention that the donations to the fire companies are down a bit. So if you can, just please, every time they send out these mailers to please donate, please consider them, because they've got, the good news is they're getting more and more volunteers, younger people involved, and that's very important. But there's also, they have to pay for the training, there's more equipment, different needs. So they certainly can use the donations and appreciate that. And just finally, in terms of, I guess, appointments, I encourage everybody who's interested in doing anything, you know, we have the volunteer application forms online. You can check off something that you might be interested, whether it's one committee or board or several. There's a lot of people applying for different things. We are in transition right now from Mayor Hsueh to Mayor-elect Marate. So he was away for a few weeks, and I thought I guess we were thinking the Human Relations Council works under the direction of the mayor, and since we're in transition, the thinking was to just give Mr. Marate a chance to review the application or maybe talk to the individual. So that's where it was, but we're moving forward. So just apply, and then we'll see if we can find a spot for everybody. All right, thank you.
Thank you. I certainly join in my colleagues' thank you to Mayor Hsueh. 16 years and 10 before that is a significant amount of time that he has dedicated to this town. Probably Mrs. Hsueh is happy to have him back. But I want to give a special thank you to Marvin Gardner. I had the pleasure and the honor of serving with him on planning board this past year. And he has got to be one of the best minds I have ever encountered. As a lawyer, you meet a lot of great minds, a couple of them right up here. But Marvin is just in a class and a league of his own. And I'm disappointed he won't be back at planning board. And I think, unfortunately, his loss will be felt. He had this incredible ability to get right to the issues. He conducted what felt like an incredibly beautifully orchestrated cross-examination of the applicant in a very respectful, very kind, but very knowledgeable way. Frankly, we were lucky to have him for as long as he served. But I think we'll miss his leadership and his presence on planning board. That's it.
Well, I'd like to follow up with my thanks to Shing, who was a colleague and somebody I worked with, somebody I have tried gently to influence for a quarter of the century, sometimes successfully. We started out together running for council. We served together on council, and I served with him when he was first elected mayor, and he and I did a lot of work together when I was FOOS president, and he encouraged me to come back to council, and here I am, and here he's not, and I'll miss him, and I'm grateful to him for what he's done for West Windsor. And my family has a question for our mayor-elect Marate. Are we going to have fireworks at Christmas, and fireworks as frequently as we have with Shing as mayor?
Yeah, we'll have fireworks outside this room only.
Well, I think that's
Allison, just so you know, the Recreation Commission runs that, and the fireworks are about $5,000, and it's paid through the Recreation Trust account, which is non-taxpayer money, so the tradition continues.
Well, I think that the tradition of frequent fireworks started with Mayor Shing-Fu, and my family appreciates it, and that's why we asked, and I will certainly pass that on. And I also went to breakfast with Santa, which was amazing. The number of people, the camaraderie, and the slush, because there wasn't enough room to park, which is such a good feeling when you're having an event. I was at the tree lighting, which was beautiful as usual. I apologize for my grandchildren, both of whom I brought and who decided to run around, but everyone was wonderful. And I especially thank an anonymous patient dog who allowed my 4-year-old granddaughter to pet her and calm down. I was at the ribbon cutting, and I would like to thank not just the staff, but my colleagues, especially Linda, who commented on, we need a meeting room. We need a meeting room accessible to the public. And I feel council really helped design the beautiful, beautiful area that the health department and the rec department share now across the way. And I'd like to follow up on Marlena's comment about leaves. The way it works is if you're in Zone 1, the township picks up your leaves the week of the first Monday of the month. If you're in Zone 2, it's the second Monday. Zone 3, the week of the third Monday. Zone 4, the week of the fourth. And they might be late picking them up, but they're not early. And please don't put your leaves out more than a week before you're due to have them picked up. They block the street, and if it snows, they freeze. They make it much harder for the snow plows. We were lucky that the snow melted so quickly this time. It's coming on winter. Please think of possible snow when you put your leaves in the street. We appreciate that up here because, as you heard, DPW was able to take care of the leaves this time. They don't always, and it can get expensive. So thank you. Next, we have a public hearing.
2017-32, ordinance amending the Township Code, Chapter 4, Administration of Government, Article 14, President and Vice President, term, presiding officer, annual meeting.
Does anybody want to speak on this ordinance, which would make it possible for us to elect a president and a vice president if the president, as happened this year, resigns in the middle of the year? No more acting president? Seeing nobody interested.
I move to close public comments.
Second.
Jeevers?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Morate?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.
I move to adopt the ordinance.
Second.
Jeevers?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Morate?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes. Next, consent agenda.
Resolutions 2017-R304 designating January 1st, 2018 as an official holiday for the township. 2017-R305 authorizing the tax collector to cancel property taxes for disabled veteran per state statute 68. Cartwright Drive East. 2017-306 refund of overpaid sewer rent. Minutes, October 30th, 2017 business session as amended, October 30th, 2017 closed session, November 13, 2017 closed session as amended, bills and claims.
Anyone want to remove something from the consent agenda? Seeing none, a motion?
I'll move 2017 R304, 305, 306, all 3 minutes, bills and claims.
Second.
Roll call vote?
Jeevers?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Morate?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes. Recommendations from administration and council clerk.
2017-R307, authorizing the township to proceed with an in rem foreclosure by filing a complaint with the Superior Court of New Jersey and by servicing a copy to the Attorney General for the following properties: Block 15.4, Lot 7, Block 20, Lot 46, Block 5, Lot 42, and Block 16.20, Lot 139. 2017-R308, authorizing the business administrator to purchase a 2018 Ford Escape four-wheel drive SUV from Bayer Ford under the Education Services Commission of New Jersey ESC Co-op, contract number 65 MCESCCPS ESCNJ 1718-21 for the Division of Code Enforcement. The vehicle cost is $21,800. 2017 R309, authorizing the business administrator to execute change order number 2 with Municipal Maintenance Company for an increase of 64.24% for final quantities, adjustment, and project closeout for the project known as replacement of the interior piping at the Duck Pond Run Pump Station project. The additional amount is $55,027.74. 2017 R310, authorizing the business administrator to execute change order number 2 with All Surface Asphalt Paving, Inc. for a decrease of 0.76% for final quantities, adjustment, and project closeout for the project known as Tennis and Basketball Court Rehabilitation at Community Park and Hendrickson Drive Tennis Complex Project. The amount of the change order decrease is $5,063. 2017 R311, authorizing the mayor and clerk to execute a contract with Garden State Ceiling, Inc. for the 2017 annual road maintenance project. The amount of the contract is $543,055. 2017 R312, authorizing the business administrator to authorizing the business administrator to execute change order number 1 with S. Brothers General Contractors for an increase of 14.22% for quantities, adjustment, and supplemental items for the project known as Canal Point Boulevard Reconstruction Project. The amount is $199,959.52. 2017 R313, authorizing the business administrator to purchase and approve installation of additional equipment for the 4 new 2018 Ford Police Interceptor utility AVW vehicles from Emergency Accessories and Installations. The amount of that contract award is $26,775.08. 2017-R314, authorizing the business administrator to purchase personal protective equipment for township firefighters from FF1 Professional Services under New Jersey State Contract Number 8094. The total amount of that contract is $16,930.20.
Anybody want to pull anything? Any questions?
Okay, so let me move 2017 R307 through 2013 R314.
Second.
Could we have call the roll?
Jeevers?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Marate?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes. Okay. So, additional public comment. Is there anybody left who wants to say something? Well, seeing none, Council reports. Aisha?
Planning Board hasn't met, unfortunately. Emergency Services meets next week, and we're pretty much done with cable TV, so we're good.
Linda?
I attended a November 28th school board meeting. The board voted to accept the audit report for the 2016-2017 school year. There were no findings. The auditor said the district is in very good financial position. The board reviewed proposed changes to the program of studies, which is on the district's website. The entire program of studies will be voted on at the December 19th meeting. The 2019-2020 school year calendar was approved. Also attended the Recreation Commission meeting on December 6th. The holiday tree lighting event was very well attended. The fireworks were absolutely beautiful, and again, those fireworks were paid for out of the Recreation Trust Fund. Let's see, thank you to McCaffrey's also for I think there was hot chocolate and some of those things. Community Day next year will be on June 9th. The religious leaders work on this project, and they decided that maybe moving it from like a April-May kind of date to June, the weather might be a little bit better. So Community Day next year will be June 9th. And also Vinitz Anand was appointed by the mayor to serve on the rec commission.
Iman?
The zoning board had a marathon meeting, went on till 12:30. I didn't stay that late, honestly, but they rejected unanimously an application for converting the gas station at Route 1 and 571 into a building. And then the parking authority meets this Thursday.
Thursday, instead of Wednesday?
Yeah, they moved it a couple of times since this Thursday.
Well, the Affordable Housing Committee did meet and reviewed its own comments on Woodstone, which is going back to SPRAB, and reviewed the fact that we have 4,000 people on the waiting list for the apartments on Clarksville Road opposite the WAC. And I think there's one vacancy.
Princeton Terrace.
So they're very, very popular, and there is a great need for affordable housing in West Windsor. Okay, we're now up to new business and discussion of the procedural guidelines and the inauguration meeting. So, I did have everyone see what my suggestions, Linda's suggestions were. Does anybody have further suggestions on changes to the procedural guidelines?
Do you want to talk about the calendar maybe first? 'Cause that's
Okay,
the
why don't
changes
we
from
talk-
year to year.
And I'm just going to pass down like a rough draft of what the inauguration reorg agenda would look like, so you kind of get an idea of the things that would be on it. I have one.
And when it comes to the inauguration reorg, it's your big day, and you should take the lead in...
Yeah, as long as they don't change my name.
Well, you'll make sure that it's spelled correctly and pronounced correctly.
December 1999, 2017, there's a typo there. Number 2.
So, while we look at this, if we could move back to the procedural guidelines for just a second, I had suggested that we have a liaison to the Human Relations Council. Do I have any comments? Is this a good idea? Is this a bad idea? Anybody care one way or the other?
Is there a reason?
Yeah, I was going to ask this. You asked my
Well, I think the Human Relations Council does a lot of good things. They
Can you
have...
move closer to the mic?
They have the Martin Luther King Day, they have Peace Day, and I know they are working on other events. And I think I believe in good intra-governmental communication, and I think that we on council care about bringing the township together. I think that sitting on council, we have a perspective which perhaps not everybody has. We see people who want things. We see when there are problems in bringing people together, and I think that perhaps our input would be useful.
Have you felt that they have suffered without our input thus far?
I don't really think I can say that, but I don't think the Recreation Commission suffered without our input, but I think it's been useful to have that line of communication.
I mean, I'm not going to serve as liaison next year, so I can say whatever I want. Because, but there are more than 5 positions here. I see 6. You had, and then somebody has to serve in multiple positions, and then you feel obligated to go to those meetings, and then sometimes it becomes too many meetings. So you have to figure out a way of seeing when the liaison is really needed. I mean, I go to the zoning board. There was a discussion last year whether you need a liaison to the zoning board. I forgot whether it originated here or originated in the zoning board. So I just sit there and listen. I can't, even if I want to, I can't comment because I serve on the council. Yeah, see, he's shaking his head very vigorously. So I mean, you can always appoint people when a specific issue comes up and they need it on a time-by-time basis. So, I mean, I'm not going to oppose it, but I'm just cautioning that sometimes it may become just too many meetings for council members.
Well, I think that's a good point, and having been on council when we first asked to have a liaison to the zoning board, I will tell you the reason for it. Council appoints zoning board, and it was thought that we should go and see how they do and make up our minds whether we thought individuals should be reappointed. And that's why we originally had a liaison to the parking authority, because we appoint the parking authority. It is true that the number of liaisons has grown over the years.
Yeah, I think they
I
do.
mean, parking authority is good, they at least give you food.
Yeah, I mean, they do
Yeah,
very
pizza.
good, they do very good work, and very, I guess, events-oriented, a lot of their, the work that they do during the year. But I look at what's already on our plate, you got, council president, vice president, and you've got all these, what is it about?
Well, the
About 10
swearing in
more
were
things that we
necessary.
got to find between liaisons and serving on planning board, affordable housing.
I'm all for simplifying rather than adding more layers of complexity here. I have seen the Human Relations Council over the past 2 years do a really nice job. They've been on top of the events they've needed. I don't believe we appoint, it's the mayoral appointment.
No, it's a mayoral appointment.
So I don't think that argument necessarily applies here, that we should be seeing what they're doing.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't apply to rec either. But I mean, I hear people are saying it's not necessary. I just thought it was worth discussing. But I hear something else, and that is that maybe not all of the liaisons are necessary, so I'm going to make a suggestion. We shouldn't take anything out, but except for the sworn positions, president, vice president, planning board, affordable housing, cable TV, and emergency management, it's really a matter of who's interested, who wants to do it, who cares. I think that we should not be ashamed if there's one of those other liaisons that nobody wants, then we just don't fill it that year.
Yeah, I mean, you can always let them know that if they need council interaction to contact whoever is the presiding officer, and you can deputize somebody or you can go yourself.
I think that makes sense.
I think that when it comes to these offices, we should follow what we're interested in and leave it as is.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay? I had one comment which was purely grammatical, and I hope that we'll accept that. The, having the council president get the agenda by the end of the day, that you have that. Anyway.
Oh, the language changes?
The language change.
We have it.
And the other thing I had was wanting a clarification of what happens with a resolution if there are 2 yeses, 1 no, if there are only 3 people there, 2 yeses, 1 no, and an abstention. And maybe, you don't have to go through it now, but maybe we could just have some kind of chart for that for next time. Okay.
I just
Talk in
did
the-
this with another town recently.
Oh, good.
For a resolution, you need a majority of the quorum. So for this body, if you had a quorum of 3 members, you had 2 vote yes, 1 no, the resolution would still pass. The state courts have even used an example. If you had a 9-member governing body, you could technically pass a resolution with as few as 3 votes, because you could have a quorum of 5, majority of the quorum. That's even the default rules in other forms of township for ordinances, but West Windsor, as the mayor was mentioning in his speech, has its own special charter, which has the majority of the governing body rule for ordinances. That is unusual.
Well, that's very useful, and I think that that regulation should be reflected in the council procedures, so we know that when it comes to a resolution, it can be passed by a majority of the quorum.
Now, a side note is recusals are treated differently from abstentions, and a recusal does not count towards quorum. So if you had someone recuse himself for a biased reason, that would defeat quorum. But other than that, majority of the quorum is the general rule for resolution.
So, but if we had only 3 people at a meeting, and we've had meetings with only 3 people, usually meetings scheduled between Christmas and New Year's, then, and one person recused themselves, you'd have only 2 people and you can't act with 2 people. We'd have to wait
Yes,
until the next meeting.
yes.
Till we had at least 4.
They could abstain and keep the quorum.
They
but
can
if
abstain
recuse
and keep
themselves
the
due to
quorum, but
bias
when you
or-
recuse yourself, you remove yourself from the dais and you're not part of the action.
That's correct.
But if you can get some draft language
Sure.
for the, Mike knows what our council procedures look like.
Yeah, we have
Yeah.
a copy. We can just
So we can-
restate the law into the procedure.
Yes.
Which I see you've done for a lot of these provisions.
Exactly. So those were my issues. Anybody have any problem with that clarification? Okay,
Well, we'll read it when we get it.
okay. Linda, you had some issues.
Oh, the calendar. I was suggesting eliminate January 16th meeting and move it up 1 week to January 8th, because we have January 1st, the reorg meeting, and then we go January 8th, and then I guess, 2 weeks later after that, there would be another meeting,
Yeah.
29th.
So the
The 1st, the 8th, and the 29th.
Well, there was also discussion about keeping it the 16th and the 29th, and doing a special session on the 8th, so that council has the opportunity just to discuss the candidates, interview the candidates, so that you have time to maybe make a decision at the 16th, or if a decision can't be made, you still have that time until the 29th, so you still can utilize the full 30 days.
I mean, we can do it any way that
I
we want. In
like
the past, we
that.
have,
I like that suggestion, because
Because
it
you-
just gives you more bites at the apple.
Also, the advantage of that suggestion is, we have, 6, 7 people, have 5 minutes each, plus questions from the dais, plus questions from the audience. That could take some time.
Well, let's keep it free of other issues.
Exactly.
Well, we didn't. I mean, the last times we've done this, we haven't had that. There hasn't been, to be honest, and that's not to say that we can't do it, but the questions from the audience or the dais,
Are you okay with
Hasn't
keeping the
really
meeting
done that.
schedule and adding a special meeting on the 8th?
I just thought we could also get some more township business, whether it's bills and claims or something else done.
Well,
that
we're going to be
night.
doing some bills and
I know that-
claims at
I don't think this is going to
reorg,
be a
but
3-hour meeting.
I just don't want to have a meeting that features these people who are offering their services to us that goes on for 3 hours.
I don't think it will.
So I think
I
a
know.
special meeting is a good idea. Do we want to think about it for a week and make a decision next week?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can think about it.
Okay.
Allison, could I ask a question with regard
Yes.
to dates? Maybe I'm reading this wrong, but on page 9, under A205-13, Rule 13, appointments to vacant positions of mayor and council, C talks about halfway through that paragraph, applications for the position shall be submitted no later than 30 days from the date of the election of that year. And then on the following page, under number 2, it says applicants must submit an application to the clerk's office within 10 days following the date on which the vacancy occurs.
Okay,
So
Virginia,
I'm
that...
just confused.
Yes.
And I don't know if that affects the calendar or not, that's why I brought it up
Okay,
now.
just to clarify, if a vacancy is created by the election of a council member to a higher office, such as mayor or anything else,
Right.
then the 30 days from the date of election is what kicks in. Otherwise, it's 10. That's the way we changed it.
Okay.
So
That wasn't clear to me, so, but if you
it
guys
should be clear,
all- guys
and
Is the
all
change
read
in
it
there,
that
though?
way, then
I don't know what, since that was something that we did a few months ago, and it was pretty clear to us all, we spent a lot of time on it. It may have been an evening when you had Sprab,
Probably, yeah.
but I assumed it was clear reading through. Perhaps we can take a look at it again and make sure it's absolutely clear. I thought it was...
The other question
Yeah.
that I had was, it seems to refer to public comment under the section where you're just talking about a regular vacancy, but there's no public comment mentioned if the vacancy is due to an election. So I don't know if that is different in those two circumstances, or if it's just where it's placed.
There was
In
no
this
intention to
write-up.
have anything different except,
And public comment is required for all.
Yeah, we have to.
Okay.
If it's not here, it's in the statute.
It's
Okay.
mandated for
All right.
every open
It
session that we have
specifically
to
said
have.
it in the one section,
Right,
but
it's-
not in the other section in terms of the two different ways that this seat
Yeah,
could become
every
vacant.
open meeting the council has, we have to have a public
yeah,
comment.
but I know, but Virginia's referring to something specific. She's referring to the procedure when somebody is applying for an open seat.
Right.
And
Oh.
it specifically says that members of the public may ask questions of the, I'm going to call them applicants, and I think we felt it was not necessary to repeat that section when we said, under the special circumstance where a seat becomes empty because a council member has been elected to higher office, then you apply for it within 30 days of the election. That's the only difference.
Okay.
Because if, as happened, I mean, here we are in a situation where we had 2 vacancies within a year, and when Peter quit, we knew about it the day he quit. But Hemant's seat we know will be vacant January 1st. We knew that at November 7th. So that was the reason for the change.
Okay. Thank you.
I've looked at the calendar. I think that you did a great job in avoiding holidays and putting in our 3-week intervals. So I think that as January, as regards January, we're going to think about the special meeting on the 8th and make a
So you got 4
decision.
meetings then?
Yes. And we'll make a decision next week.
Right, okay. And then in October, we have 3 meetings. If you eliminate October 1st, you move it to the 8th, and we have 2 meetings.
Yeah, but then September 17th to October 8th, and what does that do
Well, they
for
said
holiday?
8th is a holiday. Is it a
Yes.
Jewish holiday?
Is it? Oh.
It's a-
Oh,
it's Columbus Day.
have bill list issues if you move that date.
We usually do it the next day if it's a holiday. You know what I mean?
Well, I think,
All right, we could do 3 meetings. I just thought,
no, I think they've
Condense
done
it
a
a little
good
bit.
job, but I'm
And I-
not in favor of changing.
And I think we were also concerned because we have the election in November, if we moved it out, and then the week after that's when everybody's at the league, so we were trying to work around those dates too, which is...
The 12th
Because
is
it's
a
Veterans Day.
holiday,
That's right.
and the 13th is when people
Coming
start
back.
going to the league, and that was why the decision was made.
all right, and as far as training that we do for council
Yeah.
members, we're assuming that if you take those mini courses at the New Jersey League of Municipality, that counts, because there's some training sessions that you can sign up during the year, that could be 3 hours, 6 hours, half-day, full-day type of thing, so that's not an issue, right? I mean, that's okay if we go down to the league, and then we take these little mini courses, that counts towards...
Well, the thing is, I don't know whether that's our decision. I think that the training courses that we take are some kind of state mandate. Mike?
It's the insurance thing,
That
right?
was the,
It's not a statement, it's insurance.
It's insurance.
insurance.
Well,
It's
then,
It's a best practice.
But
it's
that,
best practices. So
So it's not mandated, and I would argue against mandating it in council procedures. I mean,
if it's not
Again-
mandated, we shouldn't mandate it, but it does urge us in the council procedures.
It's best practices in health insurance.
We get...
Mike?
Yeah, we get points
Sorry.
for our best
Best
practices, right, with the
practices
state, you know, that whole...
Well, maybe we want to spell all that out, because I think we get points for I know we get
do,
points
we
for
do.
the specific thing. We get points
The
as
ethics
well as
course.
money off for that thing that we go to at the league, but we get points and...
The one thing I never know is what changes, if any, the state will make to the best practices questionnaire. They throw some curveballs in there certain years. I know the one on training in particular with respect to elected officials has remained constant, but I don't know if you want to specify specifically the best practices checklist.
well, and honestly, as a matter of practice, if something is not mandated, I don't know that you want to start sort of,
Well, it's
adding
mentioned
those-
already in...
Right,
in-
and that's sufficient.
Clarifying it.
see, I mean, part of it is you have to make sure you can check those boxes on best practices so you get the money from state.
Right.
And they're just using every excuse not to give you money. So
Well-
as long as you can check those boxes, that's all.
It's a credit on your insurance, and
The
it's
other thing is, the
$250 per
township
person.
does receive $250 for each council or elected official that completes the session, and I, too, complete the session, so the township gets a $250 credit.
Well, then maybe what we have in the best practice, in the council procedures now is sufficient? Mike is
sounds like it.
nodding.
That's fine, that's
Aisha's
okay.
nodding. Okay.
Yeah, because we all go down there and use that, so. All right, and then the other thing, I don't know, Mike, if you can help us with this, because we're in the age of social media, electronic devices.
Oh, yes. Well, as you know, there is current legislation pending through Loretta Weinberg, Senator Loretta Weinberg, to ban the use of any electronic instruments up on the council dais. And whether that law will be modified or changed is another story. But there's a real fear that the public is not seeing what they call the quote-unquote the real meeting that's occurring, where council members, and it doesn't happen here, but council members are texting council members and making decisions through Twitter or Facebook or through texting or emailing while on the dais. So it is a good idea to somehow curtail the usage of that. I mean, I think everyone would rather have their electronic instruments here at their hand, because we all have kids, we all have significant others, to be able to say, hey, I'm coming home late, the meeting's going late, something's going on, there's an emergency or something like that. So
I mean, I get where you're coming from. So again, in the why are we adding more rules, right? Because I would think, we have plenty to live by. But my concern really is this is a little bit of a restraint on speech.
Sure.
And I think until...
And that is a concern.
And that is the concern with Senator Weinberg's legislation as well.
Correct.
Which is why it probably won't go where she's hoping it'll go.
Right, but-
So until that legislation is a reality, I'm going to have a problem with you restraining my speech or anyone else's speech, because I have a First Amendment right.
Of course, but my cautionary on that is the current OPRA or an OPMA, you can have your private texting or private social media sources OPRA'd if it's being used during a council meeting, because you're up there doing council business. So I caution anyone from using anything up there.
And you always do.
Yeah,
You've always been.
for any type of governmental business, because then you don't want to have all your private emails,
Right.
your private texts becoming public knowledge.
Right.
But the concern was for any council member who wants to do it or has done it, going live on social media, like in West Windsor Peeps, is this,
Sure.
kind of popular. What is the proper decorum? Those kind of issues.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
Should other council members start
If
monitoring
you are to-
everything,
if you are to
joining in at the
broadcast
same time during a
statements-
meeting? How do we work through this?
Broadcasting statements is a First Amendment right. If you're using that instrument to then communicate with people to conduct governmental business, then you should do that.
And there is a difference there. For instance, when we had the Girl Scouts up here proposing that great plan to come and, redo, or keep our roads clean and keep our parks clean, I took a picture of them and then sent it to their parents and posted it on social media. So I think very much a part of a meeting that is already televised, to then tell me that that's not going to be appropriate. This falls really, I think, in the realm of best practices.
And of course, First Amendment rights there, as long as that picture isn't sent out and then somehow feedback comes back that affects policy.
Right. And yes, exactly. So, yes.
It is a very difficult landscape we all are negotiating today in
Right.
our electronic economy.
Yes. You can choose to bake a cake or not, and you can choose to...
Yes. But as long as it's not being used to conduct business.
That's right.
Oh, no, but it is the township's business when you go live during a council meeting. I'm just going to how we work up here, and...
Has it happened? Has someone gone live?
You have gone live.
Yeah, when the debates, sure, I was an audience member.
No, not for the debates. It was a few weeks ago, we were talking about...
Oh, it was the pagoda. Sure. I didn't go live, actually. It was a photograph posting an update from Marlena, because everybody of these 30,000 residents wants to know what the heck is going on with that pagoda. And about 6 people watch this TV channel. So...
Well, there's 4,000 monitoring it on and off. But,
Well, I didn't
mean, you
post
said
on
live.
Peeps,
What
but-
caught my attention was just that you said live, so it was like a live update during the middle of a council meeting. I don't mind what anybody does, like, after a council meeting, but I just thought, once we start doing that, are we supposed to start monitoring who's posting what during a meeting?
Again, you have to be careful. First, the lawyer in me, the First Amendment right, and this is something that has been debated amongst municipal attorneys and so forth. But you have to balance the First Amendment right to send out. If you're just sending out something that is newsworthy or posting out, that's probably First Amendment right. If it is then being used to interact and conduct any type of governmental business, then that crosses the line.
And I can assure you since that thing is still leaning, I obviously wasn't conducting any governmental business, so.
Well,
Well,
I
you're
think it's a
communicating
matter
as a council
of-
member. That's how you're doing the business, which is okay. I'm just saying, I think that we should wait till right after the meeting.
I'm not sure
That's
that
all.
we
Say
characterize
it.
my use of my First Amendment right as actually transacting counsel. There's a transaction that is required. The mere communication in itself is just an exercise of my First Amendment right. That's the difference.
I think that making a statement that to a greater audience than might be here is very different from having an interaction with a greater audience. So I may send out an email, but if I start having an email discussion with somebody, then I think that's
It's the
crossing
back and
the
forth
line.
that is the crux.
So it's just, the back is what starts it, and unfortunately, the forth can provoke the back. So I think that we have to be very careful, but, like courtesy, we have to rely on our discretion.
If I may interject.
Yes, please.
We've done some similar issues with some of our towns in South Jersey, and unfortunately, the case law in New Jersey is very old. The case law in New Jersey allows a surprising amount of restrictions on taping during meetings. The principle is that, like, tapes have to be allowed, but there's cases saying that, if someone is taping a meeting, you could ask them for a copy of the tape and make copies of it, all these things to restrict it, but all these cases are 20, 30 years old when, if someone wanted to tape a meeting, they came in with a camera crew and a sound boom, and there is very little or no case law or guidance. I've even talked with League of Municipality Attorneys on this issue, trying to figure it out for some other towns about Facebook streaming, and you can put in restrictions you'd like. It's technically legal, but I would caution against adding things, as we were saying earlier, adding things to the guidelines more than you have to, because it ties the hands. And you have a lot of authority or an ability as a council, as a presiding officer, to enforce decorum and restrict things. If you think things are getting out of hand, you as a council can handle that without tying the hands of future councils.
Well, I think, and Hemant, you say this a lot, right? It's poor legislation and poor rulemaking when you're rulemaking to address one specific issue and one specific person. But I think we've beat this dead horse, so.
First, we don't want to be the case for everybody else to follow, so we have no interest in going
Don't want to
there.
make precedent.
Yeah, but I've been on record as saying you can't legislate proper behavior. If somebody wants to, and my life is too short, somebody wants to do something, I'll only fight it to so much, and then it's up to the public to decide whether that's proper behavior, not proper behavior. Go have a ball.
Exactly right.
That's for the public to decide. I'll comment whatever I felt, but life is too short. Don't fight these battles.
Well, I think that we've said all we have to. I don't think we have to amend the procedures about this. I don't think we ought to, but I think that we should keep our minds on courtesy and making sure that what we promulgate from the dais goes one way and doesn't go back and forth. Because I think that everybody up here wants to know what everybody else up here is saying about what's going on up here while it's going on. Afterwards, it's a free-for-all.
And I also just wanted to get confirmation, because I want to post something on the website about the inauguration and the reorganization meeting. And we've been getting lots of calls that it's going to be Monday, January 1st at noon. Okay.
Yes.
No storms, stay away.
And perhaps, since you were kind enough to give us those guidelines, Hemant and Linda and Virginia, you have them, can comment on them next time. We need your input. I mean, it's your day. We want it to be beautiful for you.
Yeah, I'm not getting up before noon, so.
We're dragging you over here.
11:45.
Very few days I get to sleep late, otherwise I'm up at 5:30, so.
All right, then I think we've covered these topics. Thank you very much. We've made our decisions. Administration updates. Well, we don't need another closed session, so do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'm so moved.
Second.
Meeting is adjourned.